Hello and welcome to episode 491 of the God is a Geek podcast. My name's Adam Cook, your host with the most dog hair on his t-shirt this week. I'll tell you the exciting story behind that in a minute, but not until I've introduced Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate. I'm intrigued now. I need the full backstory and character arcs going on with this, this dog hair narrative now. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay. We're not here alone, though. We've always got a third person, and he's an ever-present... Wait a minute. That's not Lyle Carr. It's only Adam fucking Carroll.
Back from the dead.
I should have got like a little bit of applause
Back
sound there.
It should be some sort of like audience cheer sound effect. Or
they will be. They will be cheering. They will be cheering. We just can't hear.
Yeah. Of course. Yes.
How are you, Ad? All right. I mean, pretend this is the first time
good,
we've spoken.
Guys, I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, I've been good. I've been very busy, as some know. Got married and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So I was busy doing all that kind of stuff and honeymooning and.
You compressed every bit of life that could be stressful, like new digs. I was going to say new woman and new wife. You know what I mean? Marriage, honeymoon, holiday. You compressed every single
divorce.
thing that could stress you out. Yeah, it's got divorced and married again into one. I mean, I'm surprised you've still got the hair and everything, man. Really?
It was a lot. But it was good. It was worth it. It was absolutely brilliant. To be fair, though, the worst thing about it was I got through video games, but not a lot of what I wanted to get through. It was just, when you're so busy with something, you just can't put your brain to it. I'm just not a good multitasker either at all. I just can't do a ton of things at once. But no, it was good. It's good to be back. I was asking you, Ed, what's the weather like over there? It's so unreal here at the moment. And like the sun is just splitting the stones, but it's boiling. It's just so sticky and humid and all sorts.
I was moaning about this the other day, not to do that thing of, let's talk about the weather. But it is why do we never just get nice weather? Why is it always got to be that humid? Chris, you've recently been abroad. You know what you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a different heat.
It is different heat. It's just clammy here and
Where'd you go,
and
Chris?
Muggy and what's that? Sorry, mate.
Where did you go?
Where'd you go?
I went to Mallorca. So not probably as exciting as wherever you went, but
I got sunstroke in Mallorca.
Drier heat though, isn't it? Where'd you go? Sorry.
No, he said he got sunstroke.
I got sunstroke in Mallorca when I was small.
Oh no. But it's drier.
You left it off, did you? You didn't bother going near it.
Let's move on to that really probably quite emotionally distressing story and carry on with me. But it's a drier heat, isn't it? Where it's just whenever we get anywhere near sort of high temperatures in the UK, it's just it just sort of takes it out of you, even if you're not sunbathing.
And I reckon people must hate us for that, and probably be really angry listening to us moan about the weather, because it's all we do, in it. You moan about the rain and then you moan about the heat, and
I think it's fair game when it's just if we could just get a settled period of weather, that's all we want. The moaning just comes from all the fact it's amazing now. Tomorrow's going to be probably I've already
it is
been
raining
told
here.
Tomorrow apparently is pissing.
Yeah, I saw that on the weather report, and I was there's no way that it can possibly rain tomorrow, and it is. But so here's a question for you then, before we get into the games, and we will talk about games. But where's the hottest place you guys have ever been? What's the hottest country you've ever been? I know mine straight away because I haven't done that much. I've been to Spain a lot and Cyprus, and for me, Cyprus was I think I've told the story before, so I won't tell it again. But Cyprus was I didn't know it could be that hot. When you walk around the corner with an ice cream and it goes and it melts away. It actually happened like a cartoon. I couldn't believe it. That's for me the hottest place I've ever been.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. It's over. I was over in Italy, and I have to say it was 35 degrees, and that was more than enough for me. I was walking.
Plenty.
It was that I had that ice cream problem as well. You got one. I was I'm looking forward to eating you. Hey, let's
go. For me, it's always when it crosses the 30s. Into the 30s,
Yes.
That's when it gets too hot for me. In the ice cream thing, when we were on holiday, discovered that my daughter is like a speed demon with ice cream. She could eat it before it melts.
Wow.
But the rest of us are proper on a race against time. She's just in and it's gone. Whereas we're and it's all dripping everywhere. And just be enjoying this, and I'm not. I'm in that constant balance between. I don't want sugary fingers, but I don't want a brain freeze at the same time. And it's she's just no fear.
Sugary fingers. I mean, if you hadn't already come up with the title Clammy, then sugary fingers is
I'm already a few minutes in. What else am I going to say?
Let's talk about some video games, because there's a lot happening. There is, I keep saying I think we're out of the kind of not E3, but stuff keeps getting announced, and it's like it feels like perpetual news. It's weird, right? I don't know, but like, I mean, it would be really churlish not to ask what you've been up to games wise. You know, we've got to get into that.
I won't focus too long in this, like, but
what stood out? Actually, that would be a really interesting way of doing it. What have you played recently? Well, recently, you know, in the time away from the pod, that's like really stuck with you. You know, not going to ask you for Game of the Year stuff because you've got to, you know.
Okay, can I just say that I keep always thinking of Elden Ring, which is like that's my answer to that. Like I always just nothing has hit me as much as Elden Ring has, to be honest. But I've been playing a lot of Evil Dead, and I'm having a ton of fun with that. I think it's like I play with it was not what I expected at all. Like I just it was a lot faster and just it looks really good, to be fair. I was really kind of surprised by that. Not that I expected it to look poor, but it was just a bit more like, oh wow, this looks really decent. I think for Evil Dead fans it's really good. It definitely is light on modes, I guess, but you know, give it time. That's what these games are all about, isn't it? It's just like as it stands, the overall theme and skin is absolutely bang on.
That's something that keeps getting fired at games a lot now. Like I noticed this, especially because of the Nintendo Sports stuff. Like it's always like, oh, there's nothing there to begin with, but they'll build on it. And some people are, that's fine. And some people are like, oh, so how do they charge for this? You know, it's It's like...
I feel like it's just it offers enough to start with because it, as I said, it's just a little bit faster, and you really do have to work as a team, which is like amazing to get that down. You know, you don't want this one fella who's just like taking off, knows the ins and outs of the whole thing, and is just
Leroy Jenkins
able to do this all by himself. It's not the case at all with this game. You know, you really do have to stick together and stuff. So that's been really fun. I'm playing through Kirby, the Forgotten Land. Sure, that's just lovely. That's just like really charming. It does exactly what it says in the tin. It's quite funny. I've been laughing a lot playing that game. That's been really good. I've gone through Ghostwire Tokyo.
Okay.
Didn't think too much of that.
Fair enough.
Like, you know, I think the first 3 to 4 hours I've been like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm liking this. This is... I definitely immediately from the word go didn't think it felt amazing to go pew, pew, pew. Mm-hmm. But like... It looked pretty cool. I thought the aesthetic was pretty mad, but then it shows off everything within its first 3 to 4
That's what
hours.
I was going to ask you. Like once you, because I quite like the collecting, but then once you realise, oh, this is it. This is the rest of this game. Is this?
It's one of those ones where, depending on how much doing the side stuff grabs you, will depend on whether you just go, do you know what, I'm just going to through the story and that's one and done fine, or whether
I feel like they could make some of it quicker. Like I quite liked just going around, like, what was it, like sort of freeing the spirits with the little paper thing, but then delivering them for the kind of reward. It feels like it's what most games tend to say, right, look, you've done this 10 times, we're going to just make this a bit, you know, it's a bit like the options in Horizon or Red Dead, I think, is where you can turn off the animation for skinning an enemy or picking up a thing. Like after a while, you don't need to see Aloy cracking a branch, just take it. You know?
Yeah. But like it's okay. It's okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like I think there's just kind of annoying skills in it that kind of says it all, really. Kind of like, you know, when you're doing I don't know what it's called, but you're doing that whole stretching whatever it is, you get like a skill upgrade for it to make that faster, do it faster, you know. And I just think that kind of thing is a bit shit, isn't it? You're kind of going, I don't want to spend my points on that, like, you know. But it's all right. I think its representation of Tokyo is pretty cool.
I like how it looks. I like how it looks a lot.
And then, if I'm honest, because of just knowing that it's coming out next month, I'm going through Xenoblade. So I actually never played the definitive edition.
Interesting how you said that, because this is a one I was going to ask. You say Xenoblade. What do you say, Chris?
Xenoblade.
Okay. Do we know what it is? Because we've had this discussion recently with the word redux or redo.
I think it's Xenoblade.
Okay. But then
I think it is
like Xenomorph.
I've just always called it Xenoblade.
Yeah, once you start, you can't. Yeah.
Once you start calling it your own thing, it's just like.
So which one are you playing? The definitive edition of one.
definitive edition on the Switch. So I actually had quite a hard time trying to get that for a reasonable price for mass, because obviously,
Really?
you know, I get a lot of physical stuff all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and to get it was quite like difficult, like for a decent price. It's going for a lot now. Like you can probably get an Amazon for about $50, but it's going to be one of those ones that disappears. So it happened with the Wii one. It happened with I think it's kind of happened with the 3DS one as well. But I remember playing it for the first time on the Wii. Yeah, it was the Wii
original.
I played it on.
Right.
Yeah. And it's been a long time since I've gone near that game now. And it's still great. I love it. I'm a big fan. I know people can say what they want about the voice acting and stuff. I don't mind it, which is it's quite something that I wouldn't be into at all. But I can get by, and I think the story's cool. And by Christ, though, it's overwhelming. I always forget the amount of mechanics that they're throwing at you.
Yeah, you're 20 hours in and you get a tutorial pop up and you're like,
and the rest.
In fact, what was the thing? Because I was recently playing 2, again for sort of research into 3. And what was it I said to you, Chris? There was a combat thing that I just never understood and it never explained. And then I ended up watching a video on it and it's like, oh shit! I've been playing this completely the wrong way round because it's such a. Would you? I don't know. Is it harsh to say this? It's such a weird series in a good way. To be clear,
I mean, they like their what is it? Break, topple, launch thing.
Oh my god!
They like that, and that's back in 3, isn't it? But if you don't get that, then you're stumped because you just then you end up just thinking you're just going to just keep battering like for damage, whereas actually that's what they're trying to get you to do.
Say in the chat, Mikhail's just said, "Do I mean chain attack?" Now I can't remember if that's in definitive, because definitive edition I remember liking
chain attack
more.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a thing they've obviously kept, but that
you
again,
build up the bars and then you just
and like
help leather on it
because you like attack cancelled and stuff.
Like I see, this is the thing, right? There's so much going on that like. You have to position yourself, remember, like to the side or the back or whatever, you know, to get really benefit from.
I want to play it again.
You know?
I love it.
But like, I think if you're willing to just accept like certain elements, like you're not going to remember everything that's going on. Jesus Christ, like there's just too much happening. But it's still really great. I'm really loving it. Like I actually have I bought this one, this prequel one.
Oh, Torna.
I've got a copy of that over here. Yeah, I wondered if that was quite rare because that's like
that's rare enough to.
Is that just the DLC? Physical. Like, is it the full game of 2? I can't remember.
It's all new prequel story set 500 years before the events of 2.
But then 3, that's right, because it's the characters you meet in 2. I won't spoil, but you learn more about them. But like the third one is apparently a playable. Like you don't need to have played any of that. But also, if you have, it's one of those where if you have, you'll know. It's like after 2 and 1, I think, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I went back to playing the series, because I was honestly, I don't know where, if someone told me or I read it somewhere that it was like, no, it's a solid follow up to 2 and stuff. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I don't remember much of that now at all. So I was kind of like, I'll go back and play it all again. But to be honest, just to kind of do a sidestep a second, like the direct was on for the third one 2 nights ago. And I only watched it there last night, and that's looking cracking. Like that's looking like they're solid. A lot of, like even down to I don't even remember. I don't know if you lads can confirm this, but within the second one, right? When you're doing the arts and stuff, now it's quite awkward in the first one because you have to kind of use the D-pad to pick along the thing. And when I was watching the direct of the third one the other night, it's all assigned to your buttons, you know. So you're not having to use the D-pad to fucking go along far left, far
left
right.
and right. Yeah.
But I don't know. Does 2 have that mechanic anywhere or that kind of control scheme in it? But if anyway,
2
I
think it's just face buttons, isn't it? Like your arts on the face buttons.
Is it the same as this?
Yeah. Because this is the thing. Because like it's one of those things where it's actually a more. I would argue in the middle of playing, it's a more user-friendly mapping.
Yeah.
2.
But and therefore 3.
Yeah.
But then it's something else on the screen. And the big thing about 3 is there's just so much shit on the screen at one time. At one time, and so that's going to be really interesting when you play it. Because actually, I think it's going to be quite user friendly. But you're going to be able to see everything that's going on?
Like Adam mentioned about like the fact that you know the like it's rain time and what is the
Rhine.
Scottish?
Please say Rhine.
Okay, Rhine time. But whatever it is, whatever time it is, when you double that party
Always right
size,
time.
when you double that party size,
Bunch of jokers.
that's it. Like, but the thing is, when you double that party size, and I've said this on the pod before, but I think it bears repeating. When you double the party size with a game that's already kind of like everyone shouting in every direction, they've either got to double down on that and it be absolute, just like a cacophony of nonsense where you can go fair fucks, lads, or they've got to go, all right, we get it, and pull right back on it. And I kind of hope they just go double down, because I think at this stage you kind of have to do that, right? You just have to just go.
It'd be weird if no one talks when there's 7 fighting. They've got to just have loads of voices and just maybe
you can turn it off anyway. I know that much.
But it's also that's one way of doing it. That's one way of doing it. Just
I think it's in the first one they've added that. I don't know if it's a thing that's always been there, but they make note of it.
Never turn off Rhine.
You can turn the lads off if you want.
Don't ever do that.
I don't know. I didn't find it too bad in 2. The only bit in 2 I found a bit like that is the Scottish soldiers, but I actually played the game way later, and I didn't know they'd patched it and actually already dialed them back a bit. Like the ones with the Scottish accents of soldiers, like, you know, they dialed that way back because it was still bad. But like, it's just a small part of a much bigger game.
Are you lads going to play the third one, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Yeah, a lot of people were very happy with the Direct anyway, it seemed like.
I think that's their big game.
The internet seems thrilled.
I think that's Nintendo's big game this year so far, isn't it? I know it doesn't seem like it.
Unless they release something like we were talking about last week. Like
Kirby's it's a big game. It's a nice size, but it's Kirby's not Mario. It's not Zelda. It's not Metroid even. It's kind of, what I mean? It's
not Animal Crossing. I suppose maybe Pokemon, but like
Pokemon's this whole separate thing. Like Pokemon,
yeah, it is. To be fair, I agree with you. I think it's probably the biggest. I think it's bigger than Splatoon.
I think so. I mean, for me, Splatoon 3 is the one I can't wait to get my own hands on. But I think if I were to, in the cold light of day, I would say Xenoblade 3 is probably the biggest game, unless Bayonetta 3 is like it comes out this year.
Oh my god!
But is that is that bigger? It's been in the works longer, but is it bigger?
Fire Emblem's an interesting one if that's true. But yeah,
if that's true, that room. Have you heard this ad?
No.
So there was a leak recently. It was on Reddit that essentially, so Fire Emblem with Intelligent Systems have been kind of them and like some of the Koei Tecmo studios have been working together, like on Three Houses, and then obviously Three Hopes is the kind of other way round, where the thing that leaked and someone posted pictures and everything, like it was a real, like you don't get this kind of leak from Nintendo stuff. That the next Fire Emblem is not only finished, it's been finished for about a year. And it's like they listed like way too many details for you to be like you could make that up. And then even if you did think, well, it could still be a guess, there was like images of it and everything, and it still might be fake. But like if that's true, you've also got to remember they still got Advance Wars.
How true do you think that is? Like, do you
think it's true?
Like, if that is true, then is it going to be as big? Like, is it going to be going back to more like?
It looks more like Three Houses. Like it looks like the 3D stuff again. Because I've
been really, really dying to go back and play that again.
Well, the thing is they don't need to do necessarily much 2D stuff. They've got Advance Wars still ready to be released. It's done. It's been done for months.
Yeah,
like
when's that coming out?
Well, exactly. That could just come out tomorrow.
Whenever.
So they don't need a 2D tactics game when they've literally got one. Like. Yeah. It's really weird. Nintendo seem to have gone from a position where, like, they were out there saying, look, sorry, but COVID's caught everyone by the surprise, and especially the way they develop games, to they now seem to be, like, completely on it. Like, they seem to have, like, this game this month, next month, we've got too many, we're going to do 2 this month.
You've gone from the disappointment of not getting Breath of the Wild to go, hang on a minute, but there's still shed loads to, like, get excited about.
They've got 2 games this month as we speak, because they have Mario Strikers and Fire Emblem. Next month you've got 2 games because you've got Xenoblade, and although it's technically Square Enix, Live Alive is Nintendo Switch exclusive. Yeah, they've got 2 games a month. I mean, and then I think August they haven't announced anything, and then September Splatoon. So anything else to add? Sorry, bit of a tangent.
No, but that's kind of not that I can remember. I'm trying to look around.
Literally look at the shelves.
Yeah. No, like, do you know? Small things which I wouldn't really go too much on, but like the new Mario Kart tracks they played and stuff, they're great.
Great, yeah.
But like, no, that's kind of really all.
I do have to ask you one question because we will forget. If we don't talk about it this week, I think the game will get forgotten. I know you said you played it off podcast. Did you enjoy Turtles?
Oh yeah, Turtles. Sorry. Yeah, that's great.
I know. There's not an awful lot to say about it, is there? It's one of them games.
No,
where it's
it's
just
great.
Like,
But here's the thing, right? I'm actually not like a Turtles fan.
Okay.
I'm not against Turtles. I just never grew up.
You're not anti-Turtle. That's good to know.
I'm not anti-Turtles at all. In case someone goes, "How are you not a Turtles fan?" I'm the same with Ghostbusters. It wasn't a thing in my childhood. So
He's
like
younger
some of the
than us,
boss,
though, isn't he? Annoyingly.
What's that?
Turtles has been an ever present.
Like Turtles is cool. I've seen all the movies, all that jazz, the cartoon, blah blah blah. Never fully clicked with it. I have a buddy who is like massively into it. But like, so when I was playing it, a lot of the boss encounters didn't really know many of them. I was like, don't know who this person is. But that game looks great. It sounds great. Like, you know, it's just more of that kind of game. And I really think every time I see those types of games, like same now with Streets of Rage 4, when you look at it and you kind of go, it looks great, all right. And then you play it and you go, oh, it's fucking brilliant. Great, yeah. It just feels great. It's a lot of fun. Pretty tough. I find Turtles one is pretty tough.
It's tough solo. It's a cakewalk.
I'm not, because we played it the other day with 3 of us, and I'm not sure. I don't know what balancing there is for multiple players.
I don't think there is.
No, and so we were like,
the game is the game. It's you select the difficulty, and that's how many enemies and how hard they'll be. I think that's
So I think solo it is a challenge, but you can have up to 6, can't you? So I think that would
6 you'd walk through.
So that's what I'm just about to say there, right? Only last week I called into a buddy and it was his birthday. So like we're all having a couple of cans and stuff in his house. And he told all the guys that were coming over to bring over their like PlayStation controller, let's play 6-player Turtles. We couldn't play 6-player Turtles because you can only connect 4 controllers.
Oh yeah.
And that was and it's kind of like, it's really weird because you're sitting there kind of going, is this just like clear as day where they're kind of going, couch co-op is just not a thing for anyone anymore, because they did not say anything like, it's like you can't play 6 players couch co-op on PlayStation, you can only do 4. Like I never, like we were just all sitting going, what the fuck's going on? So we'd search online, only 4 controllers, which we know now, but like, you know, Turtles is being told 6 players.
Wow. So, like, so 6 players online and 4 players off, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which kind of sucks. Like I know you're not going to have like all the time, like
I don't have many friends, so that's fine.
Yeah, I know, but it's still like one of those things where you're kind of going,
it's a bit odd. But I mean, that sounds more like a console limitation than the game.
Like exactly that. Yeah.
So that was just that thing, but it's great. It really is really cool game.
So it's a warm towel. It's a warm hug. That game. I think. I don't know what a warm towel's got to do with anything. Okay,
a warm towel is lovely.
Yeah, no, that's
especially
true.
on the face.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What have you been up to, Chris? What have you been playing?
So, in the continued effort for co-op experiences in the Cook and Hyde co-op Chronicles,
that's a lot of C's.
Yeah,
the Cook and Hyde co-op Chronicles.
Yeah, we just basically people know that Adam and I are just trying to find some more games to play co-op with. We're both big fans of co-op games, so just trying to go through some more co-op games. So we kind of in the last week just picked up a couple of games from Game Pass that we haven't. I've not really played before. We definitely talked about playing both of them before, and just never got round to it. Something always came up. So the first one we've been playing a bit of is Minecraft Dungeons. It's been out for a couple of years now. Has it been that long?
I think it's about 2 years. Is it?
2 years, something like that. Yeah. It's the Diablo style gameplay. So sort of like isometric, sort of top down gameplay in the Minecraft universe. It's just a lot of simple fun. Adam, you're a much bigger Minecraft fan than I don't hate it. I don't want to start like Adam with the turtles. Like it's just, I'm sure I'd love Minecraft if I'd spent more time with it. I just never really played a lot of it.
Yeah, that's actually surprising that you're not super into Minecraft.
The thing is, I do worry if it'd be one of those games that would be the only thing I'd ever play. It's like one of those type of things, and I'm like, I've almost stopped myself falling down the Minecraft hole because I'm like, I'd be like, lads, look, I've created my village in Minecraft and no one would give a shit, but I'd feel really proud about it, but no one would care, and I'd be like, that took me like a year to do, and everyone's like, you could have played all these other games. But yeah, no, Minecraft Dungeons, it's very much Diablo, co-op Diablo, really, isn't it? It's like you're going around various different select various missions, so various locales, and you kind of going from one end of the map to the other. Sometimes there's bosses to beat, and you've got various weapons to choose from, slow weapons or kind of quicker weapons that have got bigger kind of radiuses and stuff. You can customize your loadout with different abilities, and you can have different armor and stuff like that. So there's lots of things to kind of find, and Adam was finding different things to me, and we're like comparing it, and it's just a lot of simple fun. Like, I wasn't like, it's one of those ones where I'm not like blown away going, oh my God, like I'm gutted that I didn't play this when it came out. But I'm also sitting there going, let's just play another level. Let's just play another level. Like, the only reason we stopped was like, it's getting late. Like, it's very much one of those. It's very, each level is very quick. It's entertaining. It's a fun co-op experience, and it's just fun. Like, if you said to me now, we're going to play another few levels tonight, I'd be like, yep, that's absolutely fine. Like, I'm well up for that. So yeah, but don't want to go into too much because it's a pretty old game. But yeah,
I would just add that, like, I remember, I think at the time, either saying it or Mick saying it in the review, that in a year's time it will be a really good game, and I think he gave it like a 6.5 or something at the time, which I didn't disagree with or anything. It's spot on. Like, they've added so much to it over time. Like, I think it's got loads more content, but it's also got like a little tower thing where like it's got daily challenges. It's got a battle pass in it, like of some description, and like.
The thing that I would say, and sometimes I find games do this because games that add so much from their original creation, a bit like No Man's Sky sometimes in this respect, is like sometimes I think they lose their way in terms of, but what about the new player coming?
The onboarding could be better.
Yeah, because the way you literally were playing it, we're like, you go to the map and you can choose like all these different levels. I'm like, hang on, which one's the one, which is baby's first level, which is clearly the one I should be starting at, and which one's like the one. Whereas I think you were saying from memory that in the original it was like this one's unlocked and then you unlock this one. And
in the original there were like 6 or 7 levels. That was it. You could target them whichever way you wanted, but like there was only 6 or 7 of them, so you weren't going to get in trouble. Yeah.
So I mean, it's got a good sort of leveling system in the sense. Well, you know, you can do like in Outriders with like the world tiers. There's ways in which you can make enemies harder and stuff. So you can kind of force certain easy levels to be harder depending on your level. So it doesn't. If you choose the wrong order, I guess. Do you know what I mean? It's still, you can still have a difficulty curve. You can still manage it that way. So that's good because it just means it doesn't really matter what order you do things. And if you want to go back and revisit, because there's like people to find and things like that to bring back to your main hub area and stuff like that. So if you miss those and you go back, it's not just you can make the difficulty challenging whilst you're doing that. So yeah, I found it enjoyable. I'd play it again, but it is very much one of those fast-paced kind of, you know, a bit like Turtles in that sense. Each level is quite short, and you just kind of go through, go right, and again, and it's just good fun. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope Adam enjoyed it too.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like I said, I was impressed by how much they added to it. It was it does feel a far more complete game now. Like at the time, I was genuinely I played it pre-release with Mick, and it was like, this is not enough content, and there definitely is now. There's loads. So yeah. Moving on then.
Yeah, I thought you. Sorry, I literally thought you were going to go. And what else are you playing?
No,
you're allowed to talk. Move on. So the other game we've been playing is Fallout 76, which again is a bit of a similar one in terms of how that game is now compared to sort of when it came out. How this game took me was very interesting because there's a bit of a solo thing at the start. Like most games, there's this little tutorial, come out of the vault, all that sort of stuff. And spoiler, by the way, in a Fallout game, you come out of a vault. I was like, it's not quite grabbing me like I don't know, like a Fallout 4 or something. And I was just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. And I was like, it's fine though. When I party it with Adam, everything will be fine. And it was, and we had good fun, and we did some missions together, and it was great. And then I was like, I kind of want to play on my own without Adam, and which is kind of going against the entire thing that we get. So I found myself going, I think it was last weekend, last Sunday. I was like, it's Father's Day, and I've got some free time because it's Father's Day. I'm just going to go and play Fallout 76. And I could tell you were a bit pissed off because I was like, I'm definitely not on it now. And you're like, great, thanks. Like, you're like, what's the extra episode on Netflix when you're supposed to be watching a series together? And I was just like, yeah, I've just kind of done a couple of missions on my own. But it's the Fallout stuff, right? So you just end up finding, I'll just go and explore over there. I'll just go, there's a I don't know, there's a mine over there. I'll go and see what's in there, or there's a building over there, or that quest marker's not too far away. I'll go and walk over there and see what's what. Oh, I'll find some super mutants. I'll just kill them or whatever. And you just, before long, you find you've kind of snowballed into various things. Your quest marker situations got ridiculous, and it does the whole like Bethesda thing where you've just got loads going on. But the one thing that pisses me off about this game, I'm a big lad, right? I'm a big lad. I eat a lot and I drink a lot. That's why I'm so big. But Christ, my character on Fallout 76, every fucking 5 minutes, like, oh, mate, I'm really thirsty. Can you give me a drink?
They could properly do without those survival mechanics. It could still be a survival game without those mechanics.
And now I need to eat something. I was like, for fuck's sake. We've only moved 2 meters, you fucking lad. I don't need another drink. And it's like, that I do think that's too dialed up. I get that in a survival game, that can make sense.
Amazing after all this time that it isn't dialed down.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
obviously
it would be
like
just
a very annoying feature.
Yeah, and I find myself okay, right, and I get it because they want you to cook or explore, but I just think I find it's the amount of time between refills. Find myself, he's an alcoholic. He just necks beer, which shouldn't cure his thirst, but it seems to. So my character's just an alcoholic that eats dog food. That's the only way I survive. Just an alcoholic dog food eater. But yeah, but it does feel like you say Fallout with a hell of a lot of NPCs. That's how it feels.
Well, see, that's what they added. The NPCs were not there, and it's remarkable what that does to the game in terms of give it some life. Because I don't know, I'm really, really torn on this because I quite enjoyed what we played, but it didn't make me go, because wasn't there some story like where Todd Howard or someone said like, oh well, we'll do Fallout 5, isn't it? 5. We'll do Fallout 5 after we've done the Elder Scrolls, which is obviously like after Starfield. So and I'm kind of pleased to hear that if they are going to do one, it's that far away, because once what they did by adding the NPCs to 76 was make it a Fallout game but it doesn't really stand out as anything other than a Fallout game. It feels like Fallout 4 now with hunger and water meters, which is not an improvement. No. Like I don't know. It's one of those. I wonder if they know what the magic was for 3 in New Vegas and how to recapture it, because I didn't get that from 4. Or I don't know. I didn't finish playing 76 that day and go like, oh, I really wish they'd just make this massive Fallout 5 a single player. I didn't feel that. I felt like, this feels like a game I could dip in, get my fill of Fallout, get my fill of Fallout, and then fuck off, I suppose. Fill of Fallout and fuck off, basically. And I don't know how you felt. Yeah. Like
no, I mean, I think it's interesting because a lot of what it kind of sets its stall out as is like, you know, camp and base building, isn't it? I know Fallout 4 did that, but in terms of what this sets itself out,
that's a requirement in this.
Yeah, and you can, because you're in a world with other players, you see these level 256, and they've opened this fucking mega store shit like in the middle of the road because it's, you know, because they can park it anywhere, and there's just all this, you know, that looks kind of cool, but probably took you far too long to put together, and I don't give a shit to see you later. And I think when I think about what I actually want to do when I'm playing that game, I don't want to do that. I set up a camp just so I can cook or stash something, but what I actually want to go and do is explore.
And the trouble is the combat in 76 is poor.
The combat isn't as good in 76. The VATS feels very sluggish and irresponsible, and in which case you're then just doing normal shooting, which feels not very
never been good. Well, you can't have VATS in a game where there are multiplayers. You know, you can't have. Like Phil Tyndall says, how much of a push are the in-game currencies, microtransactions? Is it play to win, skip grind? I didn't really get deep enough into it to know the answer to that. I don't know about you. You played more.
No, I think there is a chunk of that, but it's not overt. It's not like in some games where it's like Do you want some in-game currency? Because you haven't we haven't asked you for 30 seconds. Do you want some more? It's not that bad, and you can. Like, I haven't even thought about it, so I had to think about the question. So you can definitely play this game without worrying about that.
We'll just say, hate it when a game charges you for fast travel. Hate it.
Oh, brutal.
Hate that. Caps. You have to pay caps to fast travel. Hate that.
Ah, piss.
You know, even in Horizon, I know you're supposed to use the tents. Was it something like that? Horizon Zero Dawn and that, but you very quickly unlock fast travel as like a freebie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nice diversion. Are you going to keep playing it then, are you?
I've come back more to Turtles than I have to Fallout, because I feel like I have to be in the mood for a session, because you want to go and explore, like I say, like a specific area, whereas it depends how much time I've got. But it's been so long since I played Fallout 4, for example, that there is a itch it scratches that's similar. But you are right, there are some things in it, like the combat just feels not quite there. So there are times like that where I'm just like, it can't possibly be my slow reactions, it is definitely the shit combat. But I think I would play a bit more of it to fill a gap before something else comes out.
Does that mean it's my turn to eat humble pie now, does it? Like, I've put it off long enough this episode.
You can't keep asking everyone else what they've been playing, and you've actually got to make a formal apology to Lyle.
No, I don't have to make any kind of apology. I have to just admit that I like a musou.
No, I think we have to make a formal apology to Lyle. That seems to be the thing these days.
That's not happening. I'll tell you that now. So I played and reviewed Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which is the new Fire Emblem that isn't a Fire Emblem, but it is a Fire Emblem. This game is essentially, if you took Fire Emblem 3 Houses, right, take that game and then leave it as it is, but whip out the combat, whip out the turn-based, tactical, top-down, 2D combat, replace it with an action hack and slasher like a... It's a musou. It is one of the Warriors. It's called Warriors. It's called Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, when I started playing this, it was one of those where I would not normally review it, but I was in the mood to be like, I want to challenge myself a little bit. I want to play games a little bit outside my comfort zone. And I previewed it, and people read the preview, and I enjoyed it. Like, I was really enjoying it. But there was a point I thought to myself, because with Nintendo previews, you can only talk about so many hours of the game. And then they put out the demo, which people could play, and was essentially, I from memory, was probably what I was able to talk about at the time. So I suspected, well, there will come a point where the repetition, because Fire Emblem 3 Houses, as brilliant as it was, it had a lot of repetition, a lot of training, a lot of relationship mechanic repetition. Basically, you go back to your camp or wherever it was, like Garag Mick or whatever, and you would just kind of do the same thing based on how many turns you had in that section of game, and then you go off and do the combat, and then the combat was kind of the thing you almost were more excited about, but also you did like the relationships, you did like the characters, you did like the leveling up, you did enjoy all of that, the class-based stuff. So I figured at some point the repetition of the combat and the repetition of the RPG mechanics will at some point beat me down. Beat me down to the point where it's like, no, this is too much. When I finished my first playthrough, that was 36 hours. And I just started playing it again, but with the different... Because it does the same thing as 3 Houses, where there are different stories from different angles if you play as, like, House Edelgard, House Dimitri,
Yeah, so are all these... It's the same cast of characters.
Yeah. So it's... And that's what helped me.
Yeah.
That's what got me in.
The actual difference here, aside from the combat.
So the story's completely different. So I'm not going to get into too much of it because it is not out at the time of recording it, and I don't want to spoil it. Byleth is in the game, but you're not playing as Byleth. You're a different. They've shown it, like him or her. Shez is a playable character. It's the same deal. Like you're Byleth male or female. In this, you're Shez male or female. The story at first, I was a bit confused because I was like, "Hang on, is this a sequel? Is this a prequel? What's going on here?" And then there's enough stuff happens that you're like, oh, it's neither. It's exactly what the Warriors games often are, is that it's taken the characters and they've done their own story with it. All right. And the thing and I think why I prefer 3 Hopes to 3 Houses is because they don't mess around with the story. It's not just over-explaining and over and over and over. So in amongst all this repetitive gameplay, the story just gets on with it. Like, it goes. Like, you get what the peril is, you get what the point is, you understand the story, and they tell the story, and they just keep going. The combat's not what I expect from a musou. Not at all. Like, the combat in this game is I found it incredibly addictive. Like, you play as, say, Shez, and, like, you know, you press, you know, Y, 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 X. You know, that's a combo. Y, Y, X, Y, Y, X. All these different combos all have kind of, like, different finishes. And then they have this break system. I don't know if they actually call it that, but it's like you're fighting in the game, and if you hit someone with, like, a move, it will give you, like, a little shield shape, which is a break. Hit him again, you have to smash into him, and then you get it's called a critical rush, and you hit a button, and it just does this, like, anime style cutscene, and, like, you just knock the shit out of them, and it never stops being fun. Never. Like, if you're watching the video version, you can see the shield right now. You have to break him down, and it's got all the triangle stuff of, you know, sword beats whatever, you know, an axe and lance and all that, and, like, you know, if you're a wyvern flying character or whatever, you're vulnerable to bow and arrow. And the thing is like, every time you would think, I've sort of spent 2 hours playing this and it's that combat, it's got to me, you just change to another character. Like, you change to someone like Ash, for example, who's a bow and arrow wielder, and all of a sudden all the special moves, all the magic attacks, all the combos are the same button presses, but they are completely different on screen. They're completely different animations, totally different moves. Then you switch to a mage, and like, even within those classes, so, like, within the...
It looks smooth.
It's great. It's like 60 frames. It's really smooth. But, like, even if you go down the sword route, you know, with the sword classes, it's like, it's Fire Emblem. So you start as, like, just soldier, but you're going to end up as... Oh, God, I mean, you wouldn't name a class that's in Fire Emblem, you know, that. You know, you go... like trickster or whatever, you might end up as a thief, or, you know, but you go down and you do this, you choose your path, and it's got all of that stuff. And I think, going back to what we were saying earlier, like I said this in the review a little bit, I wonder if this is the route they're going to go down, because if the rumours are true about these leaks and that they've got Gust involved and Koei Tecmo involved in the new Fire Emblem, I'd imagine that we might start to see more of this kind of crossover game than kind of, this is Fire Emblem Warriors. Because there could come a time where you could choose to play it as a 2D battler, or just hit a button and do the fight, you know, do the musou version.
Yeah.
Like, why would that not be... That would make it even... That would be even better, because then if you did feel that sort of exhaustion of combos, you could go, well, that's what I'm just going to do. Because you can target and do stuff. You can say, like, hey, Ash, I want you to go and attack this point, seize this point. You can do that, and he will do it. And then you can, and if he doesn't do it quite quick enough, and you finish what you were doing as, say, Shez, you can then just go, actually, I'll just switch to him and finish it off myself. And that's great, and it means you can sort of zip around the battlefield because you've sent people to different parts of the battlefield. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and go, you definitely will love this. This will be our game of the year this year. Like, I mean, it's been a big, you know, Christ, Elden Ring is going to take some beating. We all know that. But, like, in terms of bigger surprises, I can't believe how much I like this game. Like, I genuinely am just absolutely... I feel stupid almost, because, like, what is it? I mean, maybe it's the characters. Like, I really dug the story and relationships of Three Houses, and I loved being able to just rejoin my House Blue again. You know what I mean? With Dimitri, or I don't know what you picked, guys. You know, Adam, I think you were Edelgard, weren't you? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can go that route, and I love that I can just do that again, and it's a new story. It's interesting, mechanically dense as fuck. Like, I cannot stress enough that there will be people who come to this go, yeah, I don't like those kind of games. I want my Fire Emblem games. I cannot stress enough how much this is a Fire Emblem game. It is everything you think of with, like, the relationships. You know how you get your relationship to an A, but you then have to get their relationship with someone else to an A and get the triangle there, like that, and how you have to train them and unlock additional skills and mechanics. It's all here. Like, all of it, even down to someone will say to you, hey, I'd like to go for an expedition, and you then go off to, like, you pick one of the places, which depends on how much you've built your base up. Even down to that, You go off with an expedition and you sit there, and you know from Fire Emblem Three Houses where you do like the kind of chat mini game where you talk to them or ask them questions. It's even got that. Like, and if you get 3 blues, 3 successful things, you get to just stare at your character lovingly and move the camera around them and take photos and shit. It's even got all of that. Like, everything is there. I was struggling to think of a thing that was in Three Houses that isn't in this. And it's just the combat. They changed the combat to be a musou. I'm fucking astonished that I'm here going, I like a musou. To me, this is a Fire Emblem game. They've just changed the combat.
Yeah.
Because I played Warriors and I didn't get on with it. It was fine. Like, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I like, it was fine. It felt like, oh, this is a musou. This doesn't feel like that to me. This feels like a Fire Emblem game with that combat. And that is a distinction I feel has to be made. Like, they need to put more environments in these games. They need to not just keep doing that. Oh, yeah, we're in a brown area now. Oh, yeah, now we're in a castle area. Oh, it's a forest. Oh, there's a mage that's making the forest foggy. Kill the forest mage and you'll be able to see the greenery. And it's like, yeah, it's not that green though, is it? It's still pretty rough. The environments don't look brilliant at any point. There's a lot more story than I anticipated. Like, late in the game when you're getting cutscenes and shit. It's also one of those games where I wondered if someone watching this video as I talk will be looking at the combat going, what the hell is going on? How do you know what you're doing? And it's difficult to explain. You just sort of do. It's a bit like in DMC where when you get good at it, the game succeeds in making you feel like a badass at it. Like, you kick the shit out of people. And it makes you feel really good when you're doing it. Like, it really does make you feel good at, it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to say.
I'm definitely up for giving it a shot anyway.
Well, I would thoroughly recommend people grab the demo. I will say, I think it's chapter 1, 2, and the prologue in the demo, and you can carry your progress over. I will say the game literally keeps giving you stuff in terms of mechanics. Like, there was one really late on, not a major one, a fairly minor mechanic that it's like, oh bloody hell, you really needed to give me one more thing to choose? Okay, cool. Like, you've thrown another tactical thing in here. But at the same time, fair play. I don't have an awful lot bad to say about it. Like I said, just could look a bit better in terms of the environments. It's like, if you offered me now another one of these, or another one of Three Houses, I think I'd go for Three Hopes. I think I'd want that because I've played a lot of tactics-based games, whereas I haven't played many of these.
And you're into this one big time now.
Big time. Yeah. Like, I have to, I won, 6 months. Will I still be raving? I don't know. But it really hit me.
Have you played Age of Calamity yet, or is it still sealed?
No, you see, that's the other thing is I'm like, oh, now that maybe needs to go in the drive next because, again, if this got me because it was the Fire Emblem, because of the characters.
That's what I'd be really keen to understand.
Yeah, why is this different? I can't really answer that. I think it's because it's Fire Emblem. It is a Fire Emblem game in all but combat. Like, I cannot stress enough how much of the RPG stuff from Fire Emblem Three Houses is in Three Hopes.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you
that might
think
not be
in
true
your head.
Of Age of Calamity,
Exactly that. Yeah. It's going to be less Zelda.
Characters,
exactly that. Yeah. Whereas this, like, whatever in your head you think, no, it won't be. No, I'm telling you, it is an RPG with musou combat. Like, it is. Yeah, I humble pie. I didn't expect to like it. I'm happy to say I was wrong. It's a really nice feeling. In absolute, all joking aside, it's kind of nice because it's very rare I go into a game thinking, I'm not going to like this, fuck's sake. So to actually go in thinking, I'm committing to a lot of hours to this game, out of my own volition as well, this could bite me on the arse. To actually come out the other end of it going, wow, what a great game, is such a really nice feeling. And it's a little reminder that sometimes, and it's easy to say it, but sometimes when you push yourself outside of the box a bit and you take a little bit of a risk, sometimes you can be rewarded. Not always. You can be rewarded for sometimes taking risks. Important to say. That's it. That's all I can talk about this week, because I'm the same. I've been playing all the same co-op stuff as Chris, and everything else I'm under embargo for. And I still haven't started Diablo Immortal, and I can see the time where I do slipping further into the dust. I just don't see that happening now. Which means, Chris, over to you because it's time for.
I was sitting there listening, obviously paying complete attention, but as it kind of dragged on, I was like getting close to this. I was like, has Adam Carroll heard this before?
Possibly not.
Oh wow, this will be a treat for you, Adam.
Okay.
It's time for Chris Hyde's listener correspondence. Yeah, there you go. What a treat for the ears that was. So
yeah, that took a while to connect to us.
Yeah, we've had a few questions in today. So Mick from our Discord has done his normal thing where he's got questions for all of us individually to answer. So Mr. Cook, I'm going to come to you first. And I'm going to ask the question as read and you can as written, and you can respond to it accordingly.
Sure.
So he says, Adam, if you had to pick between unlimited cheese and no air conditioning, or unlimited free air conditioning and no cheese ever, which would you go for?
Before I answer, I don't want you guys to answer, but is it just me that thinks this is a really easy question?
Yeah, it's really fucking obvious answer. Yeah,
Adam, is it same for you? Like really easy?
I'd like to think so.
It's unlimited.
I know
cheese.
where I'm going anyway.
It's cheese.
Yeah, unlimited cheese. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
because like I don't have air conditioning apart from in my car, and I'll be honest with you, I love air conditioning. Like who doesn't love it on a hot day when you get in the car? But the thing is you always feel shit when you get out because it's like it falsifies your mind. You think it's going to be it'll be all right, and you get out and you're like, oh god. Also, I sometimes get headaches from air conditioning. I find that it's because it's a dry heat, a dry cooling. I find I can get headaches.
It is great on holiday. Like when I was on holiday. Oh god. Like in hotter countries, but then it's not enough to not have cheese.
Like air conditioning in this country is really uncommon. I think
it is. Yeah,
like you might get it in buildings, like in office buildings.
Yeah.
But like the idea of homes having it, I don't know. Is it the same in Ireland? Like air conditioning in a home? It just seems like
not many houses I walk into have it. Like
no, I can't think I've ever.
It's like a proper special feature, right? Isn't it? It's not like
if I walked into someone's house and they had underfloor heating or air conditioning, I'd think they're doing well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where the whole house is underfloor heating or air conditioning.
Underfloor heating baffles me. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, again, I think it's one of those things.
No to it.
No, I'd have it.
It's not like if you go to like, I guess posh Chris, fuck it, let's go lean into the fucking stereotype.
Double down.
But like, you go to like we've been some of these like cabins in the woods with like hot tubs and stuff, and they've got like underfloor heating in like the kitchen and stuff, and you walk in a cold morning and it's just like. My feet are toasty. It is good. That feeling for the cost of it doesn't feel like it pays back ever.
Like when our car was written off because someone smashed us off the road, we had a rental, like a loany thing while they were sorting the insurance out. And it's the only time I've ever had heated seats in a car. And that I kind of dug. I don't think I would use it a lot, but in the winter, being a parent who drives to a lot of football matches for the kids, that was quite nice. It's the same thing. Like the poshest thing I get is like at home where we've got the Hive heating. So and like when people would always go, you probably don't really use it, and I would be in a football field, fucking ice off my nose, and I would just go click, and I go, when I get home, my house is going to be hot, and they go, oh,
yeah. We don't have Hyde, but
same, whatever it is.
I've got the car seat warming thing, but I hate it because I just put it on and it's too weird. I feel like I've pissed myself. Like,
yeah, we have got massagey things in ours, and I don't like to drive with them on because it's like squirming around as I'm driving. No, it's cheese. It's absolutely cheese. Like there's cheese. Not even.
I'd have been incredibly disappointed if you went. I'd never eat cheese again.
It's not even so much the unlimited cheese. It's the fact that if I don't choose the unlimited cheese, I get no cheese.
Yeah.
You're telling me that if I fancy one evening having cheese, just a bit of cheddar, really crisp cheddar that breaks as you cut it on a bit of cracker, I can never have that again. Then I'm going to go for unlimited cheese. Like that is.
Yeah. No, completely agree.
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Next question is: do you own a fight stick or an arcade stick?
I owned 3, but no current generation ones. PS4 would have been the last time I had one.
Do you use them?
No.
Out of interest?
I don't play fighters anymore, mate.
But when you did, I guess, because I've never got on with them.
Oh yes, yeah, no, that would be my preferred way to play.
Oh, okay, cool.
When I was playing the fighting game, except for Mortal Kombat, which I always found I never really gelled with that for a fight stick. But Street Fighter or something, I would prefer to play with the fight stick if possible.
Right.
Which would be interesting when 6 comes out because I wonder if we'll get like a load of new manufacturers being like, "Hey, fight sticks are back again."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do own them, but not current ones, and nothing fancy, to be honest. Well, I mean, expensive at the time, but nothing fancy really. Not custom built or anything. No.
Cool. And then his last question for you is just whether you've tried any recent Apple Arcade games.
No, is the answer. I'm afraid it's a bit simple, but no, I don't think I have. I thought about it because I even installed my Apple TV, just used it to watch TV. And I thought about it, and I'd look through them, and I was like, nah. Oh, but I did think about it, if that counts. So there you go. No.
One step towards. I'll come to your questions now, Mr. Carroll, and then in fact I'm going to let Mr. Carroll can then ask me. You see the doc? Otherwise
No,
this won't work. Okay, well then Mr. Cook can look at it.
I don't think he's got the doc.
Just ignore the last 10 seconds where we kind of peel back the curtain there of how we work. So, Mr. Carroll, question time.
Yes.
He says the question as it's written is, what are you looking forward to next month? Which feels quite vague. So I'm going to say, are there any games you're looking forward to next month?
To be fair, I actually said that early on in this podcast.
Yeah.
It would have been Xenoblade 3.
Yeah.
That is definitely the one I'm looking forward to.
Live Alive? For you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd definitely be up for that too.
Live Alive for me is like, I want to play it, but it's like, it's Xenoblade. Like, it's, in terms of what I'm really
I mean, of course.
Because I think more because I know what I'm getting, and I'm well up for what I'm going to be getting, if that makes sense.
Imagine playing them both.
Yeah.
At the same time.
No.
Okay.
What's your favourite side dish with morning coffee?
Now this is why
an interesting
this is
one.
why we're here. You look so confused.
Okay. What's my favourite side dish at morning coffee? Side dish, like, I tell you what, I'd like a scone.
Wow.
Like hang on. So like proper cream, not proper cream tea, presumably, or proper cream tea. Just go for it. Or just literally
the whole
dry
works
scone.
Fucking fair enough. It's been a while. We've forgotten about Adam and his food stuff. To be fair, like people might need reminding of the Pringles, and it's been a while.
Let's not ruin.
But you know what else though? Like, do you know what else though? I do just love cheese. Like just eating cheese.
Yeah.
Like it's very continental.
Would you turn your nose up at a croissant, like next with the coffee?
Oh, I tell you what.
No, I wouldn't. Like I definitely. It would have to be like. It'd have to be decent.
No, a good one.
Hang on, lads. Croissant with like a warm croissant with cheese and ham in it.
What?
So like cook a croissant.
Oh, those things, yeah.
Cook a croissant, and then slice it in half, and then put some cheese and ham in it, and just heat it up. Let the cheese melt.
I'm quite amused by the fact that you do the posh Chris thing, but I think the word that you say that makes you sound more common than I've ever heard you is croissant. The way you say it, croissant. It sort of sounds like Del Boy almost to me. Because
Monch 2, Rodders. Monch 2.
Exactly. Well, all right. So. Yeah.
Do you know?
You'd love it, surely,
you know what,
or bacon and brie or something.
Well,
like.
Think. Fucking hell! Now he's
saying. You'd love it. You'd have to try it. It's.
I'm quite simple when it comes to bread, though.
Good.
Like I don't mind having a croissant on its own. Like you don't need to butter it or jam or whatever. I would happily. I mean, some people dip their croissant in like orange juice or coffee, don't they? They actually just dip it.
Oh, the fucking
feral beast. It's a bit out there for my tasting.
I don't want flakes in my juice.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want flakes in my juice. I can't get on board with people using orange juice for their cereal either.
What?
No,
that's
mad.
That's the thing that happens. All right, people just pour orange juice in their cereal. Bit of a weird one.
No.
But I just want to quickly say as well, though, the one I like the most though is a Danish, a nice hot Danish.
Oh yeah, no, you can't go wrong with
center part. That center part is quite an experience, if I'm honest. It's just like Jesus. Give me a minute there just to take this in when I'm having it.
I'm with you. Like a really nice coffee. I think for me, I know this is a bit sort of basic bitch, but like, I think maybe a pain au chocolat. Again, warm.
I do love pain au chocolat.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think
it's very nice.
Hungry now.
Yeah, They're good stuff.
Mm.
I'm starving.
Pan au chocolat is one of those things you don't think about, and then when you eat it, you're like, why do I not eat these
We've
more?
got some in the freezer. The frozen ones are banging.
I hate asking for them.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I hate asking for them. Don't like the title.
No.
Don't like the title. It doesn't roll off my tongue really well. It's like pan au chocolat, you know. I just like.
You said
it's fine, but
it's fine. I don't think anyone's going to go. What do you mean? But no, the frozen ones are great.
Yeah.
Just heat them up and they taste fresh. Yeah. It's great.
One more for Adam, isn't it? One more question before we ask yours.
Yep. Favorite guitar pickup brand?
Oh. Jesus, that caught me off guard. Favorite guitar?
I wouldn't even know the names of them nowadays. Like Seymour Duncan was all the rage when I was a kid. Well, not a kid, but younger. You buy a Les Paul copy. You take out the humbuckers and replace them with Seymour Duncans, and you'd have.
Can I just ask a question? Because I read it out and I read 4 words, and I was like, I'm not too sure what they mean. Are we talking about first guitar?
No, so pickups are there's the metal bar. Well, not always metal bars. When someone's strumming behind there's 2 blocks. Yes. That's what's literally picking up the sound vibrations and.
Oh, okay, right.
Different pickups make
it's like
the modified. They're almost like.
Yeah, soap bars. Like P90s used to be called soap bars.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You sure?
Crack on.
Yeah.
I don't really. I
know what it is.
Know the answer to this.
I don't think there is an answer, is there? Though?
I don't really have an answer because I'm not like a full blown guitarist, but like my buddies definitely are all into that, and it's just like there's loads of ones they've picked up and pardon the pun, but they've bought, and I'm just like don't know who this is, but they're like, it's amazing and it sounds amazing, and I'm like, cool.
But that's all it is, though, isn't it? That's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, I've got a Les Paul with P90s, and it's a beast to tame that because it's so violent. P90s that's what you're looking for. You want that sort of violence almost in your distortion. But then, like, if you're playing John Mayer or something, you want a Strat or something with a really nice, clean.
Oh yeah.
And like it's so different. Like, I don't know if. I mean, it's almost like asking you what's your favourite guitar. Like, if your dream guitar, isn't it? Because then you have, like, I would have a 335 or something, I've got a copy, like an Epiphone one, but because I haven't got $3,000 in my pocket. But then even then, I don't think I would be happy spending $3,000 on one guitar now, would you? Really? Like, no guitar does everything, does it? I mean, you could probably.
If I was a big.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was gonna say you could probably get away with if you had
if I was a big guitar head.
Yeah. What would you go? Like, let's say money's no object. Whatever. You can have whatever.
Man, I'm just straight up like I just love a Strat. Just love a Strat or a Telly. Like that's just
I think a really expensive like Telly can do most things with pedals, can't it? Let's be honest. Or a Strat. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Chris.
Yes, mate.
Is your holiday hangover still on?
Well, no, because like going back to work just crushes your dreams, doesn't it? So like you just forget about your holiday, and it just feels like I was on holiday like about 3 months ago. So no, not really. We are like, because next year, selfishly, my daughter's in school, so it's like some holiday time then, so everything's like 3 times more expensive. So we're already starting to think about what that would mean and having to really look around because it gets ridiculous. So we are thinking about next year's purely because we want to try and get early so we get a better price, but not that's probably the only part of it. I've kind of forgotten about most of it because just work's been such a constant since I've been back, but so yeah.
Are you going to play Neon White?
I wasn't really close to it, and then I saw all the reviews for it, and now I'm like, I mean, originally was it like 100 on Metacritic and like the best game ever, better than Ocarina of Time or something? Until then, some other reviews came in or something. But yeah, I think I need to have a look at it. I haven't given it too much attention, and things have been crazy at the moment. But I think I need to have a closer look at it than I was giving it. I think I might have to give it a look.
Okay. I do want to try and touch that before Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think I need to give it a go. So, in answer to that question, probably yes.
Yeah.
Especially if other people play a game, you need to play this for Game of the Year. I'm like, okay, message received. But yeah, no, it does seem like one we should have a look at.
Okay. Your last one I don't quite understand, but he says thoughts on Cuphead's DLC so far.
On the DLC I haven't played, I don't have many thoughts. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, but I mean, I'm up for it. As up for any you can be to have my head pounded against the wall and made to feel like I'm no good at video games. But I'm up. I'm up for giving it a go when it's out.
Okay.
But I can't talk about it. I haven't played it yet.
No, you haven't played it. Back to you then for listener correspondence. You can continue.
Yes. So Nick's said this is one for all of us, and it's a meaty question. So you work for the largest game studio in the world, and you've been given a bottomless budget to revive a franchise from the 8-bit days. But there's a catch. The game cannot be the same genre as it was before. What game do you choose, and what genre do you revive it as? Which I was like,
Jesus.
A lot of information to... Like, because my brain goes straight to, like, Jet Set Willy and, like, School Days.
Yeah, because I was like, thinking of something. I was like, that's not 8-bit. That's, like, 16-bit. I was like, fuck, I've got to go right back to, like...
Well, this is the thing. Like, if I were to say School Days, I don't know what genre I'd call that. I don't even know if anyone knows what that is. It was a Spectrum game.
Yes, I know it's,
But I don't know what genre that would be. So could I just bring that back and make it basically Bully 2? Because that's what Bully. For me, School Days was the progenitor of Bully.
Yeah, I know a game. I just thought of a game. Thank you. You helped me with Spectrum. I wasn't thinking in that.
Go on then.
I don't know. I was just going to bring back. We're going to bring back Dizzy Egg. I'm trying to think what genre they tried to bring it back years ago.
Puzzle platformer. Dizzy was.
Yeah. Dizzy was a puzzle platformer. So what do I make it into?
Fighting game.
Hentai.
What? That's not a genre of game.
It's becoming one. A one-handed playable hentai game. It could be. What could it be? It could be. Yeah,
first-person shooter.
Good. Beat 'em up. First-person shooter. Just egging around, just firing yoke at people.
You'd hate that. You'd hate that game.
Well, no, because I don't have to eat the
It's
yolk.
just all eggs all the time. You'd hate it.
I like Dizzy Egg. Like I'm not averse to like the shape. It's the smell and the taste. So like Dizzy Egg's great with his little boxing gloves. So yeah, either like a punch out with Dizzy Egg or a shoot 'em up. Yeah, shooter sounds good.
Okay. Ad, you got any? 8-bit.
Don't really have many. There's a ton of like 8-bit games that came out that are like movie licensed ones that I'd be up for getting a better attempt at, you know. Like, there's Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm sure, came out. And I'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty.
Would you make that like
done
a
well,
dating
not like just not like an online kind of, not like an online game, but an actual proper story game. I think that'd be just really cool if like a horror game would come out that way. But other than that, Jesus,
bring back Jet Set Willy as a massively multiplayer online RPG. There you go.
There you go.
Done.
There you go. Jet Set Willy.
And that's all for this week for Chris Hyde's listener correspondence. Yeah.
You'll get used to it, Ad. You'll get used to it. You'll start to like it. You'll get Stockholm syndrome at some point. Basically, and you'll just start to like it until someone steps up and does a remix anyway. Right, Chris?
I'm still waiting for the remixes. I'm disappointed that I've had to do it for this long.
It's been a while,
and I'm not in the charts yet. So, yeah,
in the charts. Just a reminder before we finish up for the episode that you can go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek where you can support us directly, support this podcast directly. That goes to us, obviously. We run that. And that's got a private Discord, early access to the podcast, exclusive podcast featuring Lyle, who has not been banished this week. I was going to make a joke because in the Discord, he'd been a bit lippy, and I said I was going to banish him from the podcast. He's actually on assignment.
A bit lippy.
No, he'd been a bit, but even for him, he'd got a bit full of himself, I felt. And I was going to banish him for a week.
He'd taken down a peg or two.
Yeah, he just needed to be reminded I can just kick him off the pod at any time. and but it's not that. I can't do it. I can't even play the role of being Mr. Nasty. He's on assignment. He's a preview, I think, at the time we're recording this. But you can get more of that amazing insider chat via patreon.com/GodsGeek.
Epic bounce.
Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, blah, 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 all those places. Just type the site name in. We are a website, by the way. If you just watch this podcast, GodIsAGeek.com is a website where you'll find gaming news, reviews, previews, interviews, the other stuff that the game
amazing
sites
guides,
do.
written
Some
by
guides,
sexy
all
people.
sorts of stuff. But we are a website. I often forget to remind people because I just kind of assume if they know about the podcast, we are mainly a website, not a podcast first. We're mainly a website. Adam, it's been great to have you back, Ads. We'll hopefully make this more regular.
Delighted to be here, lads.
Chris, always great to have you here, mate. Always. The hair's looking really good, by the way, for both of you today. I feel a bit.
You're welcome. I've proper slicked it for
I
today.
can see you both look like you've just been like in the makeup department. And I've just got a hat on and a scraggy beard, but it's fine. Maybe most people listen to it rather than watch, so I can live with it. Thank you to all those who are here live. You can join us every Thursday around about 5:30, 6 p.m. UK time for the live show. If not, and you're watching on the archive or listening to the MP3, we appreciate you just as much. But why don't you come and join us sometime on Twitch or on YouTube? We're on there. Both of those places. Thanks for watching this week. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you next week or whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.